Hello everyone, Ceri the Crafter here, that's C-E-R-I the Crafter, and I'm here with a little bit of a make actually. Now I filmed a video recently which I'm not sure you've seen yet, or you might have seen, I can't remember which way it's going to be, where I made a 12 by 12 collaged 12 by 12 painty background which I then doodled on. I will put a link to it in the description box below. If the description says coming soon, obviously the video hasn't come out. Part of the process was I just used pieces of A5 copier paper to mask off areas on the gel plate, and I said I would keep the papers because I use them, and I did. And since filming that one I've actually used them for like stamping some foam stamps off on cleaning up stuff. So I had this pile of papers and I thought, you know what, it's a good opportunity to back up what I say, which is I usually say I'm going to use them, but I actually don't even show you me using them. So I thought, right, now I'd like to say I'm going to do this so it's going to be a big reveal at the end. However, the part of the process is that I do look that there's no creases on the stuff when I place it down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these papers and I'm going to mix them up so I actually don't know what the front side of these papers look like until I have to smooth them down. Okay, so those are by there. I also have some... Ooh, knock that over. I have some magazine pages here. You know that I harvest images from magazines. What I do is the rest of the magazine doesn't immediately go into the recycling bin. It's used as glue pages, and I do that because sometimes as I'm working and gluing, I sometimes will see something go, oh, I cut that out. So I tend to back things up. I also have a Pritt stick here, which is the brand that I like to use. And I went through and pulled out some, I've got some blank postcards here. Some are marked, some are not. So I'm just going to make up some arty background postcards. I should imagine I'm probably only going to get, let's say, one on the back of here. But I do know some of these cards are slightly smaller. And if they're slightly small, I could probably get two on there. But we'll see. We're not going to take forever to do this. So my process is going to be, I'm going to take my postcard back. I'm going to put Pritt stick on it, press it down onto here. I will just randomly choose where I'm going to put it down. Any strips we eventually cut off, I might actually, depending on the length of the video, I might use those to actually collage another background, which I can cut up for other stuff. So we'll have a bit of a chat as I'm going along, but if I've done more than a couple and I'm thinking it's boring, I will pause you, finish the process, and come back and show you the trimming and the reveal. So I'm using a glue stick. I use a glue stick for a lot of my collage type work and sticking work. I am quite a heavy-handed guy with a glue stick, so I don't normally have issues with it sticking down. So you can see I put a good coating on there. Just going to come in. Now I'm going to use, I've got a brayer here, and I'm just going to brayer that down on there just to make sure it's fully pressed, and I'm going to press it from the other side as well. Now I could be using a credit card, I could be using a store card to smooth them out, but I tend to find the brayer works quick. The larger pieces of magazine I usually then fold in half and go to one side, because if I want to add anything else to the gluing wise to something else, then I can use that for gluing smaller stuff. So I get as much out of a magazine as I can possibly get. Now I think I've probably got about 9 or 10 sheets of this paper that needs working. But as I said, we'll see. I'm not sure how much we're going to get done. Now, if you're someone that makes artist trading cards, you could also do this process for artist trading cards. An artist trading card is sometimes known as an ATC, so you could make them for that as well. So it's just a bit of a... It's one of those processes, if I'm having a day where I'm not feeling 100% creative, and we all have those days, usually on those days I'll do things like I will fussy cut, or I will choose an area of my craft room and sort it out and have a tidy up. And one of the reasons why I do that is usually in the process of tidying or sorting stuff out, do I come across something that reminds me either of a technique or a job I haven't actually finished or done, and I'm like, oh, and very often it'll spark my creativity again. But also doing jobs like this, or fussy cutting, or just sorting ephemera out, is a great way to build up your stash. There's something written on there, that's fine. Build up your stash of ephemera for maybe journal making or other stuff. So that's exactly the right size. I don't know whether, should I risk it? Can I get 2 on here? I could probably get 2 on here. Let's give that a go. I'm sounding a little bit apprehensive because I didn't cut these pieces of paper, so I'm hoping that they're accurate in size, because I don't really want to then have to trim down the postcards other than just cutting the piece of the image off that came over the side. Just pick that up. So let's see if I can do this without getting my head in the screen. So that's the first one. So yeah, I tend to use a brayer, and I've got this large brayer. I tend to use it because it gives an even press across everything. I also find if I turn things over and press them from the other side, use a store card or something from the other side, sometimes I end up tearing the image, whether it's a magazine image, it's a printed image, whatever. So, and if there's anything like texture on the image that I'm putting down, the card can catch it and then tear the image, and that's not what I really want to do. So I'll put that down here, leave a little bit of a gap. It'll help me when I come to cutting these. So we're back to the last one, not back, we are at the last one, and luckily enough I've got 2 of the brown cards, craft coloured cards left, which I'm finding fit 2 per A5, which is brilliant, because luckily I put an order in this morning on the internet. I've ordered more blank postcards, and I've ordered more blank greetings cards, because I'm not a card maker. Absolutely not. I wouldn't regard myself as a card maker, and I probably would never call myself a card maker. No, I wouldn't call myself a card maker. However, I do make cards that I like to include with things like Happy Mail, or if I'm doing a swap, or I'm sending someone a gift, I'll do that. I don't send greetings cards normally. I don't send birthday cards on Christmas cards and stuff like that, just because I just don't. I would rather call someone up on that special day and have a conversation with them than go out and buy a greetings card, or even make a greetings card and you write in it happy birthday or congratulations or whatever sentiment you're writing, and that's all you write. I would rather give someone a call and actually talk to them, and I think that gives them more value. It shows them so much more that I care about them than just buying a card and sending it. So even if I've made cards, they're made because I like to do them as a thank you. So if someone has sent me something and I will say thank you, I will send them one of my cards as a thank you. Or very often, and anyone who's ever done a swap or something with me will admit to this, I will send out a card with the swap that I do. Right, so I think let's get that off my fingers. There you go. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause the video again, just for probably about 20 minutes, just to let these have a little bit of time to dry before I come in and try and cut them. Because if I try and cut them now, the paper will be wet, and even though I'm cutting down the edges, I don't necessarily want anything to be sticking to the scissors. I'd rather get a good clean cut. So I'll be back in 2 seconds. For you, for me, it'll be about 10 to 15 minutes. To be honest with you, I'm going to make a cup of coffee. See you in 2 seconds, guys. So here I am back again, 1 cup of coffee later. These have had to dry. I had a glass cutting board on top of them just to try and flatten them out a bit. I know they're not going to be fully dried at the moment, but you know what? They hopefully will cut okay. I'm going to use my guillotine instead of using a pair of scissors because I think that will make the process a bit quicker maybe. And also it won't make my scissors sticky. So we're going to come through. So if you're not keen on hearing the slicing and dicing of a guillotine, please turn your volume down now. I'm going to do the best I can to get these done quite quickly. I am not going to turn them over until I've actually cut all of them. So fingers crossed. That I have absolutely no objection to people fast forwarding to the end, and I actually encourage people to fast forward to the end if it's a repeated process, because that's exactly what I do if I'm watching someone else's video and I'm like, right, okay, you've done this process twice now, I've seen it, I fully understand it, I'm moving on. And I fast forward to the end of the video, or I fast forward to the next technique that that artist is sharing. Right, we're on to the last one, guys. So, and then I'm going to quickly go through this pile of scraps that I've created, purely because I don't want to put all of it in the bin or the trash can, because there's more than likely pieces, especially from the last few, that I will be able to recycle in some way and put it into my scraps drawer. Let's put the chopper out of the way. So as you can see, this is just shredded pieces, but these bigger pieces would definitely go well if I was doing a collaged background with sort of a contemporary theme. So take the bits of the edging off it. So effectively, those are going into my scrap drawer. There's another bit there. Just trying to get the bits of backing of the postcards off before they become fully glued. Otherwise I'm going to have ridges in the things I stick these to, or I'll have to chop off the edges again. So right, so these bits will go into the scrap drawer, which is wonderful. That will give me something to work with. And when you reckon out of all of that, I mean, I could effectively say, yeah, let's save that bit. Effectively, that's all the waste from, I think it was either 9 or 10 A5 pieces that were just basically clean-up pieces. They were just stuff that I grayed off on, or I picked up spare stuff off the plate when I was gel printing. So, as I said, these are just Arty postcards. I could take them further and doodle on them. I could put some maybe modern contemporary imagery on them. But honestly, to be honest, I'm probably just going to write a little message on the back and include them in my next piece of Happy Mail or swap. See, that's lovely. I don't need to do anything more with that. They're lovely. I mean, and so don't overlook your scraps. I know we probably pretty much don't, but it's a really nice way. I mean, these are beautiful. I'm happy with these. I will definitely, you never know, I might send one out to you. I mean, I've got quite a few addresses built up of people that I know from my subscribers and stuff like that, because I'm always a bit cautious with the internet and the spammers and all of that lot as far as sharing addresses. I mean, I don't share my address unless I'm actually in a swap with you, and it has to be an official swap, not just a random person requesting my address. But then I do keep everyone's addresses that I may have come across, or maybe you've sent me Happy Mail and I've kept your address, or maybe I've been part of a swap or a make or collaboration, or even if I've been to a retreat. So I've got a little bit of a library of Happy Mail addresses, and I will send things out, just because a Happy Mail is just a random act of kindness, or a rack as some people call it, and to surprise someone just with a postcard going, thinking of you, love your creativity. Something, I mean, that one actually could have stamped on there some wording. I think these are lovely. Oh, I love this stamp. This is my foam. It's one of my numbers stamps from PM Artist Studio. And watch this space, because I've just launched some that are very similar to this, but are actually letters and not numbers. I'm happy with those, guys. That was, when you reckon that was just copier paper and it was waste paper, it was clean up. I think the kid done good. I like those. Those will go into my Arty postcard box and I will dip into them. And don't forget, guys, I could take that, put it on the front of a card, and it could be a greetings card. So, okay, I think hopefully that's a short enough video. As I said, I have chopped a little bit out because it was repetitive, but I think that was a nice little video to round out a previous video just to show how I use the scraps. So I'm Ceri the Crafter, that's C-E-R-I the Crafter. Until next time, bye-bye now.